Now, the alleged mastermind of the twin bomb explosions in Yanya, a satellite town of the Federal Capital Territory, Aminu Oguche, has demanded 100 million naira from the Department of State Services as damages for unlawful detention. In a lawsuit filed for enforcement of his fundamental human rights, Oguche, through his lawyer, Ahmed Raji, told the court that his continued detention by the State Security Service is illegal and unconstitutional, and asked the court to order his release or his trial in court. Correspondent Amaka Okafo reports.
At the proceedings, lawyer to Aminu Oguche urged the court to discountenance Section 27 of the Terrorism Act, which the Department of State Services has been relying on to detain his client. He argued that the said section is inferior to the Constitution, which stipulates a time frame within which an accused person should be arraigned. According to him, the continued detention of the accused without prosecution is illegal and unconstitutional.
Just asking that his rights be enforced, in the sense that we believe it is not within the law to detain him in excess of 4 months without charging him for anything. And they brought up an order, and we are of the opinion that that order is predicated on an invalid provisions of the law, and we are urging the court to strike down the basis of that order. So, because it may lead to a very dangerous precedent whereby any of the authorities can go and take an order to remand a suspect for as long as they are pleased. That will be clearly against the provisions of the Constitution, which are very clear. That is Section 35 in particular, and a few other. Of course, there are some exceptions, but our own case does not come within that exception, and therefore 35(4) must be strictly complied with.
He asked the court to order the Department of State Services to pay him 100 million as damages and publish apologies in 2 national dailies as compensation for unlawful detention. He also wants the court to make an order releasing him on bail and preventing the Department of State Services from further arresting or detaining him, or in the alternative, charge him to court within 48 hours of the court granting his orders. After listening to the accused person's lawyer, Justice Adeni Ademola adjourned the case for the prosecution to show cause as to why the orders should not be granted in favor of Oguche. Amaka Okafo, Channels Television News.
Well, officials of the Federal Inland Revenue Service have quizzed top officials of some companies in the Federal Capital Territory for failure to file their tax returns and failure to offset outstanding tax liabilities. Regional Coordinator of the service in the FCT, Mr. Galadima Saleh, condemned the non-remittances of tax to the agency. He said that the full weight of the law will be on all defaulters, stressing that the agency has zero tolerance for tax evaders in the country.
Officials of the Federal Inland Revenue Service and an enforcement operation to companies who have evaded tax for some time. The first port of call was at Pt.2, where a restaurant is set to owe the agency over ₦1 million. After searching through its books, officials of the Earth Hours took a staff of the company for further interrogation.
This office we went to, you have seen how busy they are. They claimed in our office a turnover of 500,000 naira in a whole year. So we wrote to them that we need to come and do tax audit to verify this claim. At the end of it, if we find that, look, the 500,000 naira claim is the only transaction they made in a particular year, there's no problem about it. But they completely refused.
The search for more tax evaders also took the team to some other companies in the federal capital. At Dompi Communications Company, 2 staff were asked to proceed to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. From here, the team moved to other companies. Owners of this hotel seem not to agree with the explanation over its failure to file their tax returns.
We want to close it. We have over 30 workers here. At the end of the day, we have only 1 of them all over the place. I work hard to employ people. How many of Nigerians employing people? I'm telling you, we're a social company. We don't evade tax.
At some other companies visited, there were pledges to remit all outstanding tax.
There is a balance, which he promised to pay on or before Thursday next week. And Thursday next week is merely a week's time. So we felt there's no problem. So he has put it in writing and signed and given us his telephone number. He apologized that he has not been enlightened enough to know that he should have paid on or before 1 month.
The exercise is aimed at recovering tax arrears accruing to government from the company income tax, education tax, withholding tax, and value-added tax, as well as compel companies to file their annual tax returns.
Well, I will take you back to live pictures, as you can see on your screen, of the governorship primaries for the All Progressives Congress here in Lagos State. Well, a little earlier, we were trying to establish contact with our political correspondent, Sean Kimbaloye, to give us an update of what exactly is happening. As it is now, we understand that counting of votes are on. That's what you see right there on your screen. But so far, well, it's been an uphill task for those delegates and officials trying to put all together. And we have some of the contenders there. Adeyemi Kuforiji, the Speaker of the Lagos State House of Assembly, and of course Senator Ganiu Solomon. Akin Ambode, a former Accountant General of the state, is also in the race. Shukbo Shashore, a senior advocate of Nigeria, former Attorney General also of Lagos State. Well, we also have a couple of commissioners like Femi Hamzat, as well as Dr. Leke Piton, former Commissioner for Health. These are some of the contenders. Well, we hope that before the bulletin ends, we should be able to bring you the eventual winner. But whatever it is, crew are still very much there. We should be able to break the story to let you in on who flies the flag of the All Progressives Congress here in Lagos State when we talk about the governorship seat. Well, we'll stay on that and we'll be back to tell you what Sheo and his team has been able to uncover. But now to other stories here. Well, it's been 2 weeks now since the Central Bank of Nigeria devalued the Nigerian currency. Since then, reactions have continued to trail the decision by the Apex Bank. Many are agitated that this will cause inflation and hurt the economy, while others believe that the monetary policy stance of the CBN is what is needed now to stabilize the foreign exchange market and shore up the reserves. On our big story tonight, our business correspondent Chimeze Obiwagu x-rays the situation and takes a look at what this means for the country's economy as a whole.
We've seen the reserves dropping, and it is as a result of what I regard or what I call speculative attack on the Naira. The speculative attack is coming as a result of the fact that people think that there will be devaluation as a result of what is happening in the world today, for instance, the tapering. But I think, for me, there is no need for anybody to worry about devaluation, because devaluation is a very devastating action to be taken in the country.
Going by those statements by the central bank governor, no one would have expected the decision taken at the last Monetary Policy Committee meeting to devalue the Naira. But 9 months down the line, a lot has changed. As at February 28, the Naira official rate was between 154 and 155 Naira per dollar. The foreign reserve was at $40 billion. But between then and now, there has been so much volatility in the market, breaching the band the CBN had put for the Naira.
The CBN claimed that a lot of speculations are there, but we believe that there are still some original demand as well. People are reacting to the situation in our economy. They are reacting to the political situation and the kind of things that are going to happen by the general election. They are reacting to the insecurity.
Aside from that, the oil price, which has been the major source of earning for Nigeria, began to decline, hemorrhaging the foreign reserve, which the CBN uses to support the Naira.
I was not surprised about the decision to devalue the currency. It looked inevitable given the run of events. wasn't sure there was a need to raise the monetary policy rate. Monetary policy rate is already at 12% compared to inflation at 8%. Raising it to 13%. I wasn't sure that was called for.
Tough as those decisions may be, other school of thought believe it is for the good of the country, at least for now.
What you see is that a lot of those guys who have been putting pressure on the dollar you bring the money back. A lot of those guys who have bought dollars before in the expectation of selling at a higher price, they will sell now, reducing the pressure of demand on the CBN. I mean, allowing the CBN to have a bit and say, okay, fine, we can now relax a bit now. So what you will see with this is that demand will go down.
Even with the devaluation of the Naira, the pressure on the local currency still lingers, owing to the declining price of oil in the international market.
I don't think it's about CBN. We actually saw this coming, for a long time. You know, for a long time, the former governor of CBN, Sanusi Lamido, had tried to support the Naira at all costs because using the fiscal buffer, which is the external reserve, to do that. So it was a question for market watchers, was a question of when, how long are we going to keep on propping up the Naira? I think the real issue is about the structure of our economy.
Many have asked, what does this devaluation of the Naira mean?
What that simply means is that for you, if you want to buy dollars, you need to pay more Naira. And the implication is that things abroad that you possibly will buy, because Nigeria is import dependent, what it means is that we will not be able to buy as much as you have been able to, as you were able to buy before.
Unfortunately, Nigeria happens to be an import-dependent country, and these imported goods will become expensive, and the purchasing power of the citizens will reduce, as being experienced by these traders.
It has drastically affected our costs, Definitely, when you buy something 160 and then you have to buy 184, that's like 14 Naira difference. It's a lot in the international market for us. It increases our cost of purchase and overheads and all those things,
Our parent company, once they bring this into Nigeria, you understand, it has to the cost of what is it in the market. But formerly, when you come to buy a TV of 35,000 Naira, let me say last month, and you're coming to the market and they're telling you it's 45,000 Naira due to the increment of the dollar. You understand? So it affects everything generally. So there's no customer. Most of them come and they go back with their money.
In all of these, one message is clear.
There's a need for us to diversify. Why should we be importing rice into the country? Why should we be importing fruit juice into the country? We need to refocus. We need to look inwards.
This certainly cannot be achieved by the monetary authority alone. The fiscal authority has a lot to do. They must help to develop the local products by increasing local capacity. And for most economic watchers, it is time for the government at all levels to work the talk. For The Big Story, Chimeze Obi-Wago, reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, the News 10 returns 21 days to Christmas. Anambra State government switches on Christmas lights.